and welcome to our junior high program, free workshop, beginning to practice some perspective and also incorporate our shading that we learned in elementary. So in our elementary series that we just finished for free. So if you want to go back and watch those ones, you can. What we're going to do is just take our HB pencil and like in the very first series for the kids kindergarten to grade 3, I said to learn to practice drawing a circle. So in this exercise we're going to do that, but we're also going to shade the circle and we're going to put it back into perspective. So what it is you're going to start with your arm moving very, very loosely as we did in the first exercise. And this is quite a big circle. And then what I'm going to do is sketch this in darker where I want it to be darker to get my shade, to try and get that circle the way I want it. Now sometimes at the beginning, like for me, I don't do this anymore, but when you're first learning, I recommend you pick an imaginary light source. So my light source is going to be here. So where this touches, I draw like a circle. That's going to be where your lightest area of your circle is going to be. And at this stage, if you have your kneaded eraser and you wanted to erase all these extra lines, you could do so. Kneaded erasers are great. You'll notice that in some of the exercises or class workshops that we actually do. I will demonstrate how to use the kneaded eraser. Now a ball is round, so we have to create our shading to go round. So what I do is I help students by just drawing round lines like we would have our grid. Okay, and they're going to come around like this. And that's just to help us kind of figure out our shading a little bit. Okay, so that's number 1. So we're going to start to shade this. So I'll start with my lightest pencil, my 4H. And you can go around this ball. You can go around in little circles if you want to. You want this 4H area to be right in here. Basically, because the sun is here, so or your light source is here, so it's going to hit lightest on over here. And we want this to be round, so I'm just going to kind of go in little circles, keeping my pencil nice and light, and I'm going to fill in this area right here. And this is where your blending sticks that you get. Now, a lot of people will ask me, can you reuse these? Actually, after a while, you have to kind of just toss them. You can't sharpen them. Once they get used too much, then you do want to have them kind of just throw them out. They're fairly inexpensive, or you could recycle them. They're fairly inexpensive, so it's not a high-priced sort of item that you need. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my blending stick and pull it into this lighter area, working in circles. And then what I can do is to even lighten it up a little bit more, if you round out your kneaded eraser, and it's called kneaded because you're supposed to knead in, after you use it, you could just keep kneading it and it cleans it up. So I can just go in a circle a little bit, and that's just going to lighten up that little area right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my HB pencil, and I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to do the same. Little circles, nice, same light pressure. And what I want to do is just kind of overlap a little bit because we don't want to see a drastic line. We want this nice gradation to happen. So we might overlap into this area a little bit. And we're just going to come down. And I might speed up the video as we're going along here, but this is the way of just keeping those so it doesn't get... The reason why I kind of overlap and I kind of do little circles like this is it does create a smoother edge, and you don't see the pencil lines the same, so I kind of just go in little circles. Keeping that pencil nice and light pressure. You should be able to, like I said, pull it out of someone's hand when they're working. There's nothing worse than doing a drawing and you're pushing so hard that your fingers cramp and you can't do a draw anymore. So nice and loose. A little shading in here, going in circles. Now you can determine, because I have these classes broken up, and if you're finding that the class resource is too young, you can also jump up to the next level, depending on the talent of the kids. I see anyone can learn to draw, and it's just a matter of practice and learning. And the one thing, especially with younger kids, is like there is no right and wrong with art, really. It's your expression. This is just learning techniques. And you can just kind of use that blending stick to kind of go over these lines a little bit. And you just want to pull it up, maybe get a little darker on the edge and go around so that it just kind of blends kind of nicely like that. Now again, I can use my HB again for the next sort of area, but what you can do is do that cross hatching, so you can go sort of one direction and then come back and go the other direction to make it a little darker. Alright, so it's basically, I'll go this direction first. Now I'm speeding this up for video purposes, but you can really take your time on this, okay? You don't have to rush it. The nice thing about a video is you can stop it and replay it as many times as you like. You can pause it. So I'm going to go this direction. And then I can come back and I'm going to go this direction. And that's automatically going to make those areas darker. And you can make it a little darker along the edges. And then again, come in here, overlap up into the other section that you just finished, so it has a nice blend and you don't really see that line so much. It just looks like it's really one color, just getting darker. Okay, you can see how that works. Starting to look nice and smooth. My last color, obviously, or my last shade is obviously going to be using a higher B. So we'll go with our 8B again. And then I come in here with that. And I'm just going to come along. And I'm going to shade along here. And as you're shading, you can kind of fix any lines. I want to teach you guys to draw circles without using any templates, because you're not always going to have a template with you when you have to do a drawing. So it's good to learn to draw this sketch drawing like this and learn to draw a circle, you know, just right from your own hands rather than using any devices. All right. And right along the very bottom, you can just push just a little bit harder if you want to, or go over that again. You want a really nice dark edge along there. Carry it up a little bit. And now you can use your blending stick. And we're just going to blend. Another thing that you can use is paper towel, Kleenex, wrap it around your finger. But you never ever want to use your finger for blending. And it's because our fingers and our hands have oils on them. They're not acid free. It'll put grease or oil on your picture and it will not look good. It'll also help your art disintegrate a lot faster. So if you've ever seen anybody handling any old archives, they have to do it with gloves. There's a reason for that. So keep your fingers off from doing the blending unless they're wrapped in in a Kleenex of some sort. All right, so there we go. Now we're going to learn a little bit of perspective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my horizon line, and that's where the sun disappears, and I'm going to give myself a vanishing point. So here's my sun over here. That's where everything is going to vanish to. So what you want to do is take your ruler and touch it to that vanishing point and touch it to the edge of your circle. So right there, that's where my edge of my circle is, and that's my vanishing point. And I'm just going to draw a line. You're also going to do the same thing with the top of the circle. Okay. Now, if I draw another circle in here and I keep my hands nice and loose, I've got to stay between those lines. So now you have your circles going back into space using a 1-point perspective. All right. So try and get that nice and round. You can do your shading again the same way as you did over here. And now to figure out the shadow. So here this ball is sitting, and this is completely horizontal line, right like this. And your sun is hitting here. So what you're going to do is you're going to move that over to the edge of your circle and pull down. And then, so you try to keep that same angle. I'm going to run out of space a little bit here. And that is where the point is, where your shadow is going to reach. It is going to be more of an oblong. Okay, so you're having the same direction. You slide your ruler over with that same angle to the edge, and then just lean and draw straight down, and that's going to give you the edge of your shadow and where it should go. For your shadow, darkest over here, lightest here. So you do the same thing. You can start with your 8B. And this is where it's going to be the darkest. You want it really dark in here, so you distinguish between where the ball is and where the table is. Now this is flat, so you can for sure shade completely horizontal is how you want your shading to go. So you can start like this, then go to your HB, and then out here you can do your 4H. All right, and then you can use your blending stick to blend in between these three sort of shades. Okay, and if you need to soften anything up, erase any lines, you can use your kneaded eraser. You can soften up a bit if you've gotten a little too dark. You can soften up, and then just go over it again with your blending stick. All right, now you also will have a little bit of reflective light. So what you can do is you can squeeze your eraser to a nice, like, fine, flat line, and you could just drag that through, and it's going to give you a little bit of a reflection right in there. Now for your shadow goes back in perspective too. So once you've figured out this edge, you can then just draw a line that goes there, and then straight out from your other ones, you will know that's how far their shadows have to go as well, because it's going back into space. So have fun with this exercise. It's really great in perspective and learning to shade something that looks round. And it's an important lesson, especially in junior high, to learn, and how you're going to take this now and do things like making glass bowls and making animals look realistic and sceneries look realistic just by using graphite. All right, enjoy your day creating today. Thanks.